Okay, let's unpack this. Um, a 7-year-old novice monk attaining enlightenment almost instantly.
Yeah.
It sounds like something out of a spiritual fairy tale, maybe. But that's exactly where our deep dive begins today.
Right.
I mean, think about that. Often it takes a lifetime of seeking, right?
Right.
But this story, it just highlights this radical potential in maybe just a single moment of focus if the conditions are right.
And it's interesting, this isn't just some story passed down. We're actually digging into ancient Buddhist texts here,
Hmm.
specifically the commentaries on the Kosaṃbīvāsitissatthera Vatthu. You can think of these commentaries as like the original deep dives, exploring the wisdom in the bigger collection, the Dhammapadayakatha.
Right. Ancient deep dives, I like that.
And we've got a few different translations, which is great because it helps us really get into the details of this story pretty accurately.
Exactly. So our mission today for you listening is to try and understand all the layers here. You got the senior monk, Tissa, and his incredibly quick to enlightenment young novice.
And we mean full enlightenment here, our ahatship, the ultimate goal in Buddhism, basically liberation from suffering.
Right. And then there's this really unfortunate accident mixed in. So, yeah, we want to pull out some maybe surprising insights about things like responsibility, humility, and, well, what enlightenment actually looks like.
Yeah, and if you think about the bigger picture, these stories, the ones in the commentaries, they were teaching tools, right?
Hmm.
They use narrative to explain key Buddhist ideas and practices. And this one, wow, it's got so many themes woven together.
Okay, so let's set the scene then. We're in a place called Kosaṃbī. There's a lay follower, very generous, wants to support a monk, an elder named Tissa.
A respected elder.
And this follower offers robes, provisions, a really significant act of devotion in that context.
But it's important that Tissa is hesitant at first. He doesn't just say, yes, thank you.
Oh, right. Why not?
He mentions he doesn't have a young attendant. The term is kapiyakarako, basically someone to help with the day-to-day stuff in the monastery. Ah, okay. And then, in this amazing show of faith, the lay follower doesn't just offer more stuff.
Yeah.
He offers his own son, his 7-year-old son, to become Tissa's novice.
Talk about commitment, right? It really shows you that connection, that relationship between the monks and the lay community supporting them. The follower gets the practical side of it and offers a solution that, well, deepens his own family's connection too.
So Tissa agrees. He ordains the boy, gives him the basic meditation subjects, the 5 of them.
Takapanya kapakamahana, yeah. Standard practice.
But here's where it just gets wild.
Yeah.
Almost immediately, the texts say, at the razor's edge, this little boy, 7 years old, attains arahatship.
Yeah.
Full enlightenment.
It's kind of staggering. And that phrase, at the razor's edge, it really emphasizes the sheer power of even a really short moment of focused practice, especially if, everything else is aligned just right. It definitely challenges our usual ideas about how long spiritual awakening is supposed to take. Absolutely mind-blowing, yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, you've got this senior monk, Tissa, with his brand new, fully enlightened 7-year-old novice. What happens next?
Well, about half a month goes by, and Tissa decides he wants to visit the Buddha, who's at Jetavana at this time. And naturally, he takes the young arahat with him.
Makes sense.
So on the journey, they stop overnight at another monastery. And the young novice, the arahat, he's really diligent, taking care of Tissa's lodging, making sure he's comfortable.
Even though he's enlightened, he's still doing the attendant duties.
Exactly. It shows that continued respect, that sense of duty towards Tissa, who was his preceptor. Enlightenment doesn't just erase relationships or responsibilities, apparently.
Oh, okay. But because he was so busy looking after Tissa.
Right. He runs out of time, it gets late, and he hasn't sorted out his own sleeping arrangements.
Ah, so Tissa, seeing this.
Tissa, showing compassion, invites the novice to just share his quarters for the night.
Okay. Seems reasonable.
It does, but this is like a crucial turning point because Tissa doesn't realize the implications, and it kind of sets the stage for what happens next.
Right, the accident.
Yeah.
But before that, the novice's reaction to sharing the room is interesting too, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Because he is enlightened, he's deeply aware of the monastic rules. There's this specific rule, the Sahasaya offense.
What's that basically?
Well, it's about maintaining respectful boundaries. Part of that is generally not sleeping in the same dwelling as a fully ordained monk unless it's specifically allowed or necessary. It avoids potential issues.
Got it. So the novice knows this.
He knows this. So instead of lying down, even though he must be tired, he chooses to sit upright near Tissa's bed. all night long.
Wow. A 7-year-old.
A 7-year-old ara, yeah. It shows this incredible understanding and just deep respect for the monastic code, the Vinaya, even in what seems like a minor situation.
That discipline is amazing. Okay, so morning comes.
Morning comes, Tissa wakes up, wants to wake the novice, and sort of playfully, he flicks him with the edge of his fan. Oh, no.
Yeah. Just a light tap intended, probably. But
yeah,
tragedy strikes. The fan accidentally hits the novice's eye, and it breaks the eye.
Oh, that's awful. Just a moment of thoughtlessness, really.
Exactly. It's such a stark reminder, isn't it? Even playful actions, routine things, they can have serious consequences. Cause and effect, it's always operating.
Okay, so the eye's broken. Now, you'd expect a 7-year-old, any 7-year-old, to scream, cry, be incredibly upset.
Right. But this is where the novice's enlightenment really shines through. His response is just extraordinary.
What does he do?
He just calmly asks, "What is it, venerable sir?" That's it. And when Tissa tells him to leave, presumably just to get up and start the day, he just gets up and leaves. Doesn't say a single word about his eye being broken.
Wow. That equanimity, that calmness in the face of, well, agony, really.
That's exactly it. Equanimity. It's a key quality of an arhat, someone who's, rooted out the mental stuff that usually makes us suffer and react strongly to pain or difficulty.
And it doesn't even stop there, does it? He carries on with his duties. He does. He silently goes about his morning tasks, sweeping the monastery, preparing washing water, all while holding one hand over his injured eye.
Still fulfilling his role, despite the pain.
That commitment, that discipline, it just speaks volumes about his inner state, right? And enlightenment isn't just some abstract idea. It shows up in how you act, even when you're suffering.
So how does Tissa find out?
Well, later, the novice offers Tissa a toothpick. But he only uses one hand because obviously the other is covering his eye.
And using one hand is considered improper.
In that formal monastic context, yes. So Tissa rebukes him, tells him off for bad manners, essentially.
Oh, the irony.
Huge irony. And that's when the novice has to explain. Very respectfully, he just says his other hand wasn't empty.
Because?
Because he was holding his broken eye.
Oh, man. Imagine Tissa hearing that.
Exactly. That's the moment it hits him. He's horrified, realizes the gravity of what he did, even though it was unintentional, and he immediately feels deep remorse.
Does he apologize?
He does. He acknowledges his heavy deed, as the text says, and actually asks for forgiveness from the 7-year-old arahat. It's quite a reversal.
Humbling himself before the novice. What does the novice say?
Just pure wisdom. He essentially says, look, I didn't tell you right away because I didn't want to upset you or make you feel bad. He wasn't trying to blame Tissa at all. Wow. And then he goes even further. He basically attributes the accident to chance, to the round, the cycle of existence, karma, where things just happen. He says it's not Tissa's fault, and it's not his fault either.
He absolves them both.
Pretty much. It shows this incredibly deep understanding of causality, of karma, and just immense compassion, even for the person who accidentally hurt him so badly. He lets Tissa off the hook, emotionally speaking.
That is profound. But Tissa, despite being let off the hook,
he's still completely overcome, partly with remorse, sure, but also just awe at this young boy's incredible qualities. He insists they have to go see the Buddha right away.
And he carries the novice's things.
Yeah, he takes the young arahat's bowl and robes, carrying them himself as a sign of profound respect.
So they get to Jetavana, to the Buddha.
And the Buddha, being the Buddha, already knows they're coming and what's happened. He greets Tissa.
Which must also be quite something for Tissa.
You'd imagine so. It underlines the Buddha's own enlightened awareness, doesn't it? Knowing things as they unfold.
So Tissa tells the whole story.
He recounts the entire incident. And he emphasizes how astonished he is by the novice, his patience, the complete lack of anger or resentment, despite the injury, and just his deep insight.
And this leads to a teaching from the Buddha.
Exactly. Hearing Tissa's account, the Buddha then gives a teaching that really summarizes the qualities of a true arhat.
What does he say?
He talks about their mind being peaceful, their speech and actions being peaceful, how they're liberated through wisdom, and how they are tranquil or self-possessed.
And there's a specific verse associated with this, isn't there?
Yes, a very powerful one.
Okay, can you break that down for us? Maybe start with the overview again.
Sure. So the core idea is someone whose mind, speech, and actions are peaceful, or shanta, that's a keyword, because they're properly freed through perfect understanding. That person is calm and self-possessed.
Okay, shanta means peaceful.
Peaceful, calm, tranquil, yeah. So diving in a bit, the commentary explains Santanta mana means the arhat's mind is peaceful, free from defilements like greed or anger.
Makes sense.
Then Santavakaka kamaka, that's peaceful speech and peaceful action, no harsh words, no harmful deeds.
Right.
Samadanya vimutassa, that means rightly liberated through perfect knowledge. They see reality clearly as it is.
Liberated by wisdom.
Precisely. And the final part, upasantasa tarinoti, describes someone who is calm, tranquil, self-possessed, whose inner fires, the passions, have been completely extinguished.
Wow. A beautiful description. And what was the effect of this teaching?
Well, remarkably, Tissa himself, upon hearing this teaching inspired by his own novice's example, attains aratship right then and there.
The elder monk reaches enlightenment too.
Yes. Along with gaining special analytical knowledges, the Kosaṃbīvāsitissatthera. And it wasn't just him. The text says the whole crowd listening benefited greatly from the discourse.
So it's like the novice's enlightenment, his response to the injury, it sort of rippled outwards.
Exactly. It sparked this whole chain reaction. The story doesn't just highlight the novice's amazing qualities. It shows the direct transformative power of the Buddha's teaching, leading to more awakening. It's all interconnected.
Incredible story. So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive, what are the main things you listening can maybe take away from this?
Well, first, I think it powerfully shows that spiritual maturity, real wisdom, it's not always tied to age or how long you've been practicing, is it?
Definitely not. That 7-year-old had wisdom beyond measure.
Second, it's maybe a stark reminder that even things we do unintentionally can have really big consequences.
Yeah, Tissa's playful tap.
Right. It really drives home the need for mindfulness, for awareness in just our everyday actions and interactions. How mindful are we being, you know?
Good question. And thirdly?
The novice's reaction. Just, wow, that equanimity, the forgiveness, that deep grasp of cause and effect, even when he's the one suffering. It's an incredible example.
Truly. And finally?
Finally, the Buddha's teaching itself. It gives such a clear picture of what enlightenment entails. That inner peace, acting harmoniously, and being freed through wisdom, that's what being truly self-possessed looks like, according to this.
Okay, so here's a final thought for you to maybe chew on. How could this story affect how you interact with people?
Yeah.
You know, especially when things get difficult or someone makes a mistake, maybe even one that hurts you.
Yeah. How can you personally cultivate a bit more of that equanimity, that understanding in those tough situations?
And really think about it. What does being truly self-possessed mean for you in your own life? Something to ponder until our next deep dive.